Welcome to ISTV News. This is Panorama giving you the news. Let's see the top stories. Denizens of the herd of Imphal city buy water for survival as PHED doesn't supply water. And women need to be educated more to make them empowered, affirm experts on concluding day of Amada's 4-day training program. Now the news in detail. People living in the herd of Imphal city are facing a lot of difficulties due to non-availability of water, particularly drinking water. The denizens of the central parts of the city have been compelled to buy water for all purposes as the Public Health and Engineering Department has stopped supplying water for the past 2 months. The areas where the people are facing a hard time are Lalambung Makong, Takhelambam Laikai, Uripok Sorbon Tingel, and Kongram Selungba Laikai. Secretary of Lalambung Takhelambam Laikai Youth Development Organization, Elangbam Joy, told the ISTV News that the PHED used to supply water for about 10 years. Though the tap water contained a lot of dirty matters, people used to get it filtered and use it for drinking and cooking. However, the PHED has cut off the domestic lines 2 months ago and laid new pipes. But still, the department is yet to supply drinking water through the new pipes, he said.
Application inform department department Hai pila masih kay tawag have alternative ways amata for the presentation the pangande aduga hojik mu hatta ising sin kara filter taw na potana wana sin na marak sida mu thani mu sore koi ising ja tharak tara hojiki domestic language sin phatab se yana ba wari uta yana habi mong da ta department ko minum mu tawi masih koi alcharing manam hojik tha sahi thani mu sore koi ising je amthi wa ba On
the other hand, water is supplied through 3 public hydrants. There are times when water doesn't come. Some people who can afford connect the water from the public hydrant by using long hose to their homes. The department simply looks at this wrong egg. If drinking water is not available even in the heart of the capital city, what would be the situation in the remote areas? Asked the secretary and appealed to the authority to take immediate steps to make drinking water available as soon as possible.
Misingna mahak makki pipe lairaga maimunda sakuntana posanba aduga lairaba kar lapthokpa midi pipeline ju leija bangam deba ade ising hondu su pipeline extra sangam samdal leiramba madu nungai taba mayam aduga is pipe sama pipe satu kanda ekado pipe satu im haim na changba mayam campaign sai koi club ta ana campaign to ne ko yang ngai deba lai anu masi pipe hidden na hoji mukti ko nari tebtai kar yang thuna koi haiba hande anu pipe ni si charge sabiduna production se manang kai sin pangan view hai
Kuni club sulai tu mayam sih apun beti mana kuni ngasih ajar sih. Kuni aku ni phang tapi sing lain sing basi aku na ekwada sih na kita source tu kang dah ni nungai tu supaya ina anak ye sekolah pia masih matang kita yang sih na masih aku di senjen view tu kat tu mata ni sing pangan view.
The 4-day training program on imparting education on drug abuse, women and child trafficking and its related crimes organized by All Manipur Anti-Drug Association Amada in collaboration with Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, Government of Manipur, held at the Tribal Research Institute at Chingmairong from July 6 has concluded today. Former chairperson of Manipur State Commission for Women, Dr. Seth Jamini, and president of Amada Padmini Lema were the main guests at the valedictory function. Certificates were distributed to those who participated in the 4-day training program. Dr. Jamini spoke on women empowerment and gender budgeting at the function. She said, the women of India at present are living in a patriarchal society. Because of this, laws of the land are framed by the men folk which make the women folk of the country, though endowed with various innate talents, unable to exploit their own talents. Therefore, If the women of India are to be empowered, they need to be educated still more, Dr. Jamini opined.
Women's empowerment, Nupida Sakti Pio Hable. Nupida Sakti Pio Hable say, I know so I get port on a Tangilaga. Nupido the Hapsin, the Donatea. Popadi Haunami couldn't not say, Elencham Yaw never.
Residents of Uripok Basaspati Laikai states a sit-in protest at Uripok Basaspati Laikai today to condemn the bomb blast which took place yesterday at the house of Executive Engineer of Imphal Electrical Division 4 under Electricity Department Laichombam Dinesh Kumar, son of L. Dep Singh. Many placards condemning the bomb blast were displayed at the protest. Speaking to media persons, a woman protester strongly condemned the bomb attack carried out by unidentified persons at a thickly populated area that might have caused many casualties. She further appealed to all militant outfits not to carry out such attacks in future. If there is any differences between the two sides or disagreement with the department, they should blame the concerned department, she added. Rural United Clubs organization has distributed the 7 meritorious awards to the highest mark achievers and rank holders of Lamsang Assembly constituency. The distribution function was held at the ground of Senjam Chirang Youth Development and Kongnu Lairembi Thogalop. K.T. Rahman, advisor of Amuko, Y. Manikuman, president of the organization, A. Lokonchao and many students took part in the function. Amit Shah, a close associate of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is the new BJP president. His appointment was announced today by Rajnath Singh, the man he succeeds. Rajnath Singh, with Prime Minister Modi by his side, said he had resigned this morning as he is now the Union Home Minister in new BJP-led government. He said Mr. Saha was unanimously chosen as the new chief by members of the BJP's parliamentary board, a group of 12 top decision makers. Mr. Saha, who sat on the other side of Mr. Modi, takes over with immediate effect. This means that both the Prime Minister and the party chief are from Gujarat. In the national elections in May this year, Mr. Shah, 50, engineered a massive victory for the BJP in Uttar Pradesh, India's largest state, delivering 71 of the state's 80 parliamentary seats. The BJP hopes that he will repeat the magic in assembly elections due this year in states like Maharashtra, Haryana and Jharkhand. The whole country is watching you, Speaker Sumitra Mahajan reminded parliamentarians today, urging them to abandon the embarrassing behavior on flagrant display for the second day in a row. After her short tutorial, Trinamool leader Kalyan Banerjee, who had questioned her impartiality, apologized for hurting the sentiments of the chair. Sources say Banerjee's apology followed a compromise worked out by other leaders of his party who felt that he had gone too far. Sumitra Mahajan urged Kalyan Banerjee and other Trinamool Congress lawmakers not to carry placards and posters into Parliament or rush to the well or centre of the House, as they did this morning. The chaos in Parliament is rooted in an ongoing war between the Trinamool Congress and the ruling BJP over the railways budget that was presented yesterday. Trinamool members say that as they shouted slogans against the budget and the Prime Minister for ignoring the needs of the poor and Bengal, a drunk BJP lawmaker abused and threatened them. Union Ministers Prakash Zavadekar and Venkaiah Naidu states an intervention to prevent Trinamool members from clashing with BJP representatives. Kalyan Banerjee of the Trinamool was then seen rushing out of Parliament, shouting that he had been threatened with assault. Kakoli Ghosh, another Trinamool MP, said she had been told her sari would be pulled off. However, the BJP denies the charges. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley today tabled the economic survey for 2013-14, a day ahead of the union budget. The economic survey reviews the developments in the Indian economy over the previous 12 months, summarizes the performance on major development programs, and highlights the prospects of the economy in the short to medium term. Economic survey sees 2014 to 15 economic growth at 5.4 to 5.9%. However, it sees 2014 to 15 GDP growth on lower side of projection due to risks of weak monsoon and high oil prices due to geopolitical tensions. The survey sees an improvement in manufacturing growth in 2014 to 15 as compared to nearly flat growth in 2013 to 14. In comparison, Indian economy grew at 4.7% in 2013 to 14. The survey calls for the implementations of direct taxes code as a clean, modern replacement for existing income tax laws. The ambitious Direct Taxes Code, which proposed overhaul of the 6-decade-old Income Tax Act, was introduced in the Lok Sabha on August 30, 2010. The Direct Taxes Code draft had recommended that the combined ceiling for tax-saving investments be raised to Rs 1.5 lakh per annum. The draft had also called for an introduction of a fourth slab of 35% on super REITs with income exceeding Rs 10 crore. The economic survey called for the need towards a simple tax regime with fewer tax exemptions, single rate of goods and services tax, GST. The survey says wholesale inflation is showing sign of receding and is expected to decline further. There is a need for common market for agricultural commodities, the survey says. The survey called for a soft fiscal correction by giving more teeth to the Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management (FRBM) Act. It recommends raising the tax to GDP ratio for fiscal consolidation. The survey stresses the need to have a formal monetary policy framework for targeting consumer price inflation. The survey says subsidy reforms are essential to fiscal consolidation. India spends nearly Rs 2.5 lakh crore on food, fuel and fertilizer subsidies. The survey says inflation limits call for the Reserve Bank to cut rates. The economic survey underlines significant improvement in balance of payment position. India's balance of payments position improved dramatically in 2013 to 14, with current account deficit CAD at $32.4 billion, 1.7% of GDP, as against $88.2 billion, 4.7% of GDP in 2012 to 13. The reserves increased from $292 billion at end March 2013 to $304.2 billion at end March 2014. The survey flags concerns over emergence of El Nino this year in agriculture. A senior BJP leader from Bihar says that the 1 crore in cash found at his home is not his. It belongs to a cousin of mine. Giriraj Singh is clean and will remain so, the politician said, referring to himself in the third person. Giriraj Singh, a 61-year-old national lawmaker, anchored a Marxist controversy of the national election when he declared that critics of his party's Narendra Modi, then running for Prime Minister, should move to Pakistan. Shailesh Vara, an Indian origin British Minister for Justice, has welcomed the UK government's decision to install a statue of Mahatma Gandhi in Parliament Square here by early next year. British Foreign Minister William Hague and Chancellor of Exchequer George Osborne, who are on a visit to India yesterday, announced the plan for the statue of Gandhi, the inspiration for non-violent civil rights movement around the world. In an unusual personal intervention in a foreign election, US President Barack Obama has asked the two presidential candidates in Afghanistan's disputed polls to maintain calm and threaten to cut off American aid if extra constitutional steps are taken. Obama made a phone call to Abdullah Monday night and then followed it up with a call yesterday to Abdullah's rival Ashraf Ghani. Brazil's World Cup dream was smashed into oblivion as majestic Germany ran riot to win an extraordinary semi-final 7-1 and send the South American hosts crashing to their worst ever defeat in their 100-year footballing history. Thomas Müller opened the scoring on 11 minutes. Germany poured in the goals on Tuesday to hand Brazil their heaviest World Cup loss ever with an outstanding 7-1 rout in the semi-finals that stunned the host nation. Miroslav Klose scored a record-setting 16 to carry a World Cup goal in a 5-goal spurt in the first half as Brazil's defense was torn apart. The Germans reached their 8th final and will face either Argentina or the Netherlands on Sunday at the Maracanã Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. Previously, Brazil's biggest World Cup loss was 3-0 to France in the 1998 final. This match their biggest ever margin of defeat in any competition, equaling a 6-0 loss to Uruguay in 1920 in the South American Championship, the predecessor of the Copa America. Argentina and Netherlands will clash for final berth in the second semi-final tonight. Miroslav Klose became the World Cup's all-time top scorer after netting his 16th goal in the competition in Germany's first half semi-final rout of Brazil. The 36-year-old, appearing in his 4th World Cup semi-final, put Germany well on course for Sunday's final in Rio de Janeiro after Thomas Müller's early opener. Toni Kroos then added 2 more in many minutes to incredibly put the Germans 4-0 off before Sami Khedira added a 5th on the half-hour mark. His work done, Kroos was replaced by Andries Krul in the 58th minute. Kroos had made Brazilian legend Ronaldo's record of 15 World Cup goals when he scored the equalizer in Germany's 2-2 draw with Ghana in the group stages. Well, that's all we have for now. But before we wind up, let's have a quick look at the top stories once again. Denizens of the heart of Imphal city buy water for survival as PHCD doesn't supply water. And women need to be educated more to make them empowered, affirm experts on concluding day of Amada's 4-day training program. Thanks for watching our news, and for more updates, please stay tuned.